This is a vintage Astatic D104 microphone. These things have been made for a long time. This was introduced in 1933 and stopped being produced in 2001. Holy smokes. But a friend of mine gave this to me because it has a little bit of a problem. This problem. That's today on Tech Guy Life. So this might be a short video. This could be as easy as just slapping an end on this thing and away we go. But I'm gathering it's not going to be. First, I got to do some research and find out about this microphone and see what's involved in it. Plus, we got to give it a bit of a cleaning too. It's a little dingy and a little dirty. But maybe we'll try to see if it works first before we put all the elbow grease into cleaning it. So I found the schematics for this online, and something surprised me. I'm going to put the schematics up over here somewhere. It has a battery in it. So this unit actually has a mic preamp in the base. So inside this base, there is a mic preamp with a battery. So at this point, I am not holding my breath that it's going to look good in there, because I don't know when the battery was last checked or changed, but maybe we can even be lucky and maybe there's just no battery in there. Someone took it out at some point. So let's open it up and check out what's in there for the battery. Okay, here we go. Let's check out what's inside the base. Oh, that screw's not totally undone yet. All right, here she goes. Hey, okay, not so bad. She's clean. Definitely clean, although this pot is very dirty. I can see the fuzz just inside of it. But it's got a 9-volt battery, which hadn't leaked. So that's a good thing. I'm going to assume... Oh, actually, it took the whole terminal off the battery. So it was getting there. Okay, I'm going to have to take that off somehow. Just give me a sec. All right, so I kind of got this up on a vise with a nice towel in there just to kind of hold it up, because otherwise we're not going to be able to do anything. And you won't be able to see it because it's a big, tall microphone. So cool thing is, inside the lid, there's actually the schematic, which is the same one that I found online. First thing I want to do is make sure that the 9-volt battery terminal is not damaged in any way. So I'm going to check the continuity. Oh, I'm going to put it on continuity to make sure that the battery didn't screw up these wires. So that the black wire is good. And the red wire is good. See if we can get some of the dust out of this pot here. That looks a little bit better. Let's put another 9-volt battery in and see if we can get a connector on it. So here's a new 9-volt battery. Lucky I had one lying around. Don't usually have these kind of batteries that much anymore. So let's get it back in the clip. There we go. Move that down. Let's get an end on the wire and see what happens. All right, so I had to do a little bit of jumping through adapter hoops here because I didn't have any 1/4 inch or mini jack to wire onto here, but I did have some XLR. So I have an XLR male connector to go to this XLR male to 1/4 inch adapter, and then 1/4 inch to mini, so that I can plug it into the computer so we can hopefully see if there is any signal coming in. So yeah, adapter fun. So I'm just going to temporarily hook it up Because what this is you've got your the mic feed is on this clear white wire here. This is the ground. And what these two wires are is there is a handle on the microphone, which is this switch. So this, and when you hold the microphone handle together, these two wires connect, and when you let it go, these two wires disconnect. Let's try the test and see if it actually is still working. Okay, so we have our temporary wiring done. Ground is hooked up to the ground of the XLR connector, and the positive is hooked up to pin 2 of the XLR connector, which translates all the way down to the tip, and then the sleeve is the ground. So let's plug it into the computer and see if it actually works. All right, so my little test riggy-jiggy didn't work, which I'm kind of not surprised. So I got out the oscilloscope. So let's take a look at and see if we're getting anything from the feed coming from the microphone itself. So this will tell us. So if I push that, you can actually see. Actually, you can see right away. You can see my voice in the oscilloscope. Blah, blah, blah. Test 1, 2. Blah, blah. Yeah, I'm sure that's great stuff. But yeah, it looks like the microphone actually is picking up sound. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire up the XLR connector, and let's get that connected so that it's a little easier to do some tests. All right, so I got the temporary wiring disconnected. So I need to remove this wiring from the XLR connector, and then we will put the new wiring on. One of the things I got to do is you have to remember to put this part onto the wire first. So you definitely need a third set of hands to do this. Probably should have changed the tip on my soldering iron to something a little thicker. All right, let's tin the wire here. Put a little flux paste on it. You know, I always find that these helping hand things aren't really all that helping. Those helping hands things really are not helpful. So what I've done is I put a little bit of heat shrink on the ground wire, or the shield wire. On an XLR connector, apparently that is supposed to be run to 1 and 3 if you don't have a full balanced connector. And then the audio connection is onto pin 2. So I actually don't need these contact closure wires. So I'm just going to trim them off there so that they can be, used in the future if need be. So in the future, if I ever want to, I can strip those wires back and get access to them, but I don't need them for the microphone operation. So now what we need to do is we need to put the XLR connector back together, and that's very simple. It just kind of lines up like that, and there's a couple of, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's like a couple of little grooves in the metal, and that lines up to little plastic pieces on the edge, and they will not go in any other way. So once that's together, you slide that up, and away we go. So there is the new end of the microphone. So before I close this up, what I want to do is I want to give this potentiometer a little bit of a clean. So I'm going to shoot some deoxit into this little hole. Do it down both sides here. And just give a little shot in there. And then we'll just take something and move the potentiometer back and forth. And that should hopefully clean it up and make it not, dirty sounding or scratchy. There we go. All right, let's put the screws in the bottom back on. Lost the screw. Found it. Yes. All right, let's give this guy a clean and see if we can make it look better. Oh, actually first, let's finish up this XLR connector. So this goes on to here. Lines up with some of the lines on the connector, so like that line there, so that when you put it back in, it only goes in the one way. And it works as kind of like a clamp on the cable. So when you tighten this, it starts to clamp down on the cable, holds it in a little bit better. Let's get to cleaning this. It's pretty shiny. I'd say that it would have turned out okay. You know, it's not in the best shape in the world, but, you know, that's better than it was. It's got some of its beer finish back again. So I have here is a special audio card that has a microphone input on it. So let's plug that in, and let's see how it sounds.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. This is the Astatic D104 microphone. Originally intended for AM radio and for ham radio. What is ham radio? Can I have a ham radio on rye bread, please? There's a nice buzz and a click when you turn the microphone on and off with the little handle. But, you know, all in all, that's probably more from the complete, like I don't have a full balanced setup here. So the buzz is probably just some interference coming from the ground loop or something like that. But this isn't bad. Sure has a nice feel. You feel like an old-timey radio person talking into one of these microphones.
All right, so we got this microphone working again. You know, it's not the best sounding microphone, but I don't think it was totally intended for super awesome sound. Again, ham radio and for AM radio. Ham radio is, of course, it's just amateur radio stations is apparently what ham radio is, where you can just operate them from your home. You still have to get a license in order to, do that. So don't just go out and start broadcasting. But it uses a lower bandwidth than what your traditional like FM radio would have. So you wouldn't notice the sound of this microphone as much on AM or ham radio. At least that's what I've been led to believe. But anyway, so it's a beautiful microphone. I love the feel of it, and I think my friend's gonna get a real kick out of using this. I think he wants to use it for web chatting and things like of that nature. So yeah. But anyway, at least it's another thing saved from landfill. Although even in its current form, it would still look really great up on a shelf somewhere. But that's it for this video. We will see you in the next one. If you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, tell your friends and family about my channel. It would really help us out. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.